Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm your host, Jeffrey, and subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Now, today, me and Buckeye Mike break down the Week 3 XFL games, and we preview and predict who we think is going to win each game.
Week 3 picks. So, you have Seattle Sea Dragons going on the road into the worst stadium.
Cashless field.
Cashless field. The worst stadium in the XFL. As far as this game,
I just know it was better than last week's.
Yes. I believe that was the only game that did not hit the over for last week. I do expect 7,000 people. With it being Seattle, I would have thought DC would have had a better viewership than they did. With it being Seattle, I think the viewership's going to be down for sure. We need to start seeing Ben DiNucci grow at quarterback here. It's getting to a point where it's like, is he the guy or not? If he's not the guy, put the next guy in. Don't overwork him like you did in week 1. Start to mold him like you did in week 2. Where does he go from here for the Seattle side? That's kind of where I'm looking at. Involve Josh Gordon more. That's another key factor. If you involve Josh Gordon, it's going to make it positive in the long run. For Vegas, my guess is that they're going to start Luis Perez. You've got to start integrating and working on a 2 QB system here. You can't just rotate the quarterbacks in all the time, back and forth. It doesn't help with the O-line, and you already have O-line problems. Fix the quarterback problem. I would go with Hundley. They're not going to do that most likely. I think Seattle is capable of getting their first win here. I'm going to go Seattle with the score that we saw last week. I'm going to say Seattle wins 20-10.
Yeah, I mean, based off of everything that we've seen from these two teams, this is more than likely going to be a low-scoring game. The line or the over-under is probably going to be low, and it should be because these teams have not scored a lot. And when you're on cashless field, you're not probably going to play at your highest level because of the fact, how can you? Field's bad. You're not going to be at your tip-top condition for playing football. So you're probably not going to play well. Both teams aren't playing well, especially Vegas, that well anyway, even though I do think Seattle's definitely been the better team. They, like I said, they could be 2-0, but they haven't done enough. So in this game, if it's not raining and the weather is not bad, then I think this would help Vegas and Luis Perez, with being able to throw the ball better. But I also think it will help Seattle, too, because Ben DiNucci, if he can get the ball to Josh Gordon earlier in the game than in the second half toward the end, then I think that will help both teams. I mean, if the weather is bad, then both teams are going to be affected by it, and this is going to be a really low-scoring game. But based on what we've seen from these two teams, I do think Seattle's better through 2 weeks. They've looked like the better team. Even though they're 0-2, they've shown potential that they could have been 2-0 if they had just done a few more things right. And if they play like the team that they have the first 2 weeks and Vegas plays like the team they have the last 2 weeks, Seattle will win. Now, if Vegas can break out of this, play better, then I think that possibly Luis Perez can get the win. But the field is bad, so both teams are gonna play poor. I don't think Vegas is gonna be comfortable. So I do think Seattle will pull it out 17-14.
So the big day this week. Triple header Sunday. You've got St. Louis going into DC. This is a big one. I think even though St. Louis hasn't shown to play a full game yet, I think what we're seeing here right now, in my opinion, I don't know if you notice this or if I'm just seeing this or if you think this, but in my opinion, the XFL right now, the way it's trending is every team is basically outside of Houston and whoever plays Houston each week. This league is, let's go out there, have a cruddy first half, and just toss everything out there in the second half and have this miraculous second half.
And most people turn off by the time the second half happens, so no one sees it.
And then they probably see the highlights on SportsCenter and they're like, where was that when I was watching it?
Just turn it on at past halftime then. Just don't watch the first half so you won't have to see that, and then watch the second half.
Now, I think this game could make a difference. The key thing, too, is like St. Louis has played nothing but road games up until this point. So, in my opinion, that does help them.
Yes. Which I think is crazy that they've opened up the season with 3 road games. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, yes. In my opinion, St. Louis is better built all over, more weapons than DC. I still think this game will be a little close. At the end of the day, I think it'll be St. Louis 24-18.
Yeah, this game right here, to me, I mean, if you look at these games and they do go the way, on paper that they should go, you're kind of seeing who should win these games, the other 3 games, if the teams play to the same level that they have been. But this is the swing game right here. This one could go either way because St. Louis has barely won the first 2 games that they've played. And DC has flaws, but they've won. And it's at DC. The key here is going to be whether Jordan Ta'amu or De'Aaron King are able to run all over the place. If St. Louis stops them from running everywhere, then I think that St. Louis will win this game easily, fairly easily. But if they allow them to run all over the field, it could get interesting. And St. Louis hasn't, as a team, shown the ability to pull away or get a lead early. They've only squeaked out wins late. So I could definitely see this game going either way. But if McCarran Magic plays out yet again, then they will win. But if, third time's not the charm, then DC will win. And St. Louis will finally show that they are a team that's not great, but they found ways to win the first 2 games. But I'm going to side with the McCarran Magic. I'll take St. Louis 21-18 over DC. I think they're going to squeak it out.
So for the third game of the week, you got the Orlando Guardians going back on the road, back into Texas here to face the Arlington Renegades. But I do give Arlington the edge here. I'm going to go with Arlington just because they have everything else the way they need it. Orlando's a just complete, absolute, horrendous mess. 100%. So I'm going to go Arlington. And if things do go bad, and if Bob Stoops has a brain, not saying he doesn't, if he has a brain, he would be smart to put in Sloter because Drew Plitt has been playing average, to your point. I don't think he's the guy. I don't understand these silly, I would say stupid, but keep it clean, these silly coach and QB attachments that they have. I mean, just allow the guy that's playing better and performing better at practice be the starter. That's all you have to do. But you can tell if you find the right pictures and the right camera angles, you can tell that Sloter is furious. And there's rumors he's looking for a way out of the XFL to go possibly back to the USFL, which wouldn't be a bad idea.
You should go to Orlando. But, I mean, if he doesn't want to play behind that O-line, I can get it, and wants to start fresh, then it makes sense to go to the USFL.
Absolutely. But so I'm going to go Arlington. This one, I think Arlington's going to really create separation. Give me Arlington 32-10.
Yeah, it's kind of starting to trend that we're picking the same teams again like last week. And it's like I would have, picked DC to be different, but I feel like McCarran Magic will find a way. But you're looking at this game. Nobody's going to pick Orlando.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely nobody. And if you do, it's either you're a fan of the team or you believe in Magic. But McCarran's not on Orlando, so there's no McCarran Magic. So, I mean, anything's possible. That's why the games are played. Orlando could go on the road, and Paxton Lynch could just light it up somehow. Or they put in Francois, and he rediscovers his Florida State level of play. You never know. But unless that happens, and as long as Drew Plitt plays average, it should be Sloter, but as long as Drew Plitt, who presumably will be the quarterback yet again, plays average, Arlington will win this game. Because Orlando just can't do anything right now. They just can't. As a team, they're flawed everywhere, but especially the quarterback spot and the O-line. So I'm going to go with Arlington to beat Orlando 27-13.
Yes, and for you viewers of ours that are conspiracy theorists, and have kept track of our records and do know that I'm only a game back of this gentleman. I swear on my life, on my grave,
it's 6-2 to 5-3.
That we are not picking the same games on purpose.
No. Like, I really wanted to pick DC, but it's like I was going to pick St. Louis. It's almost like we got to mix and match the picks, like who picks the game first. You know, like where I want one game, I pick first, and you pick, and then one game you pick for I pick, so people will know we're not because we don't know what the other's picking. But it's like, for real, we're not picking the same.
I mean, for this week, for example, you basically have, outside of maybe the first and last Sunday games, those ones are really a toss-up in a sense. But to your point, it's like Fitz magic in the NFL with AJ McCarron. You know, those are really a toss-up, those two. But the two on top are just, I mean,
especially the top right one. That is just easy.
I mean, seriously, who's going to pick Vegas and Orlando? Eventually, we're going to have to do one or the other because they're going to play each other.
Oh, that's going to be fun. But no in Vegas, they'll probably have at least a win or two by then, and Orlando will still be 0 and whatever. And I mean, it probably will still be easy to pick.
Just pick based off the record. So you said you're going Arlington?
Yeah, 27-13. Give it a little more credit to Orlando. Maybe they'll get one more stop than you have them getting.
So the last game of the week. This, to me, feels like St. Louis, San Antonio all over again. It has the potential to be close like that. It has the potential to be a great game. You know, I love the way that Brandon Silvers is playing. For being a small college quarterback, he's really good. But I do think it's the weapons around him. I would like to see Borghi continue to explode.
No, he's real good.
Oh, man, so good. You want to talk about good running backs. I know Abram Smith was #1 overall pick by DC, but, I mean, come on, man. You ain't got nothing on Borghi. I'm going to go Houston here. We're not doing this on purpose. I'm going to go Houston 30, San Antonio. San Antonio 24.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I can't do it. I just can't pick the yellow team. I mean, you know, San Antonio's good. They're 1-1. They got promise. Hines Ward, he went from one yellow team to the next. I mean, it's good things are rolling down there in San Antonio, but Houston's got it going a little bit more right now. I mean, you got Brandon Silvers out of Troy. He's balling out. Max Borghi out of Washington State, played under the great Mike Leach, rest in peace. And you've just got a team. As long as you don't turn it over, you could possibly win every game the way you're playing right now. They're playing great, but they have been turnover prone. So if San Antonio can exploit that, maybe they can get the win over Houston. As long as Houston doesn't commit more than 2 turnovers, they should have enough offense the rest of the game to get the win. I will take Houston as well, 28-22. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Comment down below which teams you think will win the Week 3 XFL games, and I will see you next time.